Howdy folks, Dennis here from Ellis Canvas Tents. I'm here today to talk about our Split-Torrent tent. We're going to take a look at some of the unique features, the overall design. This is one of my personal favorite tents in the Ellis lineup, and the smaller 8x11 here happens to be Dave Ellis's personal favorite tent. This is really the evolution of our Shackleton design. We've got the same canopy, but we've integrated outdoor living space and an interior cabin underneath the same canopy. Let's take a closer look. If you've been camping long enough, you've camped in the rain, which can be a really unpleasant experience. Here, you've got this wonderful outdoor lounge space that's directly connected to your sleeping quarters. You can comfortably cook and hang out in a downpour, and there's no problem. It's also great shaded living on a hot summer day, and it gives you privacy from the surrounding area. All right, so 8x11 is the total footprint of the tent. That means you've got 8 feet by 5.5 feet of awning area and 8 feet by 5.5 feet of cabin area. For the 11 by 14 Split-Torrent, you've got 11 feet by 7 feet of front porch area and 11 feet by 7 feet of cabin area. Let's talk about some of the similarities between the two tents. So in our door systems, we use a 5-ounce acrylic coated polyester and then a no-seam mesh. We think a lot about our door systems because it's one of the parts of the tent that gets used the most. If you think of people constantly coming and going, zipping and unzipping, that zipper point is going to be the first thing to fail on a tent. And we know that, and we build it so it can be serviced. We also, because of the way it's constructed, take a lot of that pressure off of the zipper so it lasts longer in the first place. Up high in the peak of the tent, there are a few things to note. Number one is the loop all the way in the peak. Now that's actually true of all of our tents. That's really handy because when you want to come home from your adventure and you need to store your tent away, you have to dry it first. So that's an easy way to hang it up in your barn or in your basement or in your garage. The next thing is the vent. Now the Split-Torrent tent has 2 vents, one for the cabin and one for the awning area. That's fully screened in with the same mesh that we use for our doors and windows. And the last thing is the stove jack assembly. Now the cover is currently removed, but you can see that there's a shingled hood up around the top of the jack, and then the cover slides in underneath and velcros down to the jack itself. One of the other unique design features is this door pull system, and this is actually true of all of our tents. Most canvas tents would use a grommet and spike system in this position. We realized a long time ago that that was a fail point. So what we've come up with here is this nice vinyl socket that houses the top of the door pull. And that retains all of the structural integrity in this hard-working part of the tent. The awning mat itself is a 10-ounce vinyl-coated mesh. This is the same material that we use in the removable floor system on our Shackleton tents. This is great because if you spill something, coffee, whatever, it's going to run straight through. It keeps for a nice tidy entryway, and it also keeps the canopy clean for the awning when you're lowering the tent and packing it away. Now the interior of the tent is going to have an 11-ounce domestic vinyl floor. That's a bathtub floor that zips onto the perimeter of the tent. Now the great thing about this system is that we've got this continuous zipper system that goes all the way around the perimeter, which allows you to make an opening anywhere in the tent that you'd want to run, say, an electrical cord or a propane line if you're heating that way. One of the most important parts of our tents is the canvas itself. So this is pretty special stuff. It's a 7-ounce Sunforger Army Duck. We have this custom made and then we send it to Butler, Georgia, where it gets a true Sunforger finish. That's going to be for mold, mildew, water repellency, and we also add an FR treatment because all of our tents are wood stove ready. Another unique component is this strapping, which we actually make in-house from the same 7-ounce Sunforger. We build this and it runs throughout the tent from reinforcement point to reinforcement point like a network, giving the tent more structure and added durability. Now the cabin on the 11 by 14 is enough room for 3 cots or 4 bedrolls on the ground. You can see that we've got this tent set up with 2 bedrolls on 2 cots. That's a really nice, comfortable setup. All your gear can go underneath of the cots and keep the interior nice and tidy, also leaving room for that wood stove in the interior. The other great thing about the 11 by 14 is that the cabin's actually big enough for a queen-size mattress. You could fit a queen-size mattress on this side of the cabin as well as a cot on this side. So you really got a lot of options here in terms of comfort. So the cabin of the 8x11 is just enough space to put 2 bedrolls side by side with a little extra space at the foot for your personal gear. Also really comfortable to set 1 bedroll up on a cot, and that's great for a solo camper. Dave Ellis actually likes to sleep on the front porch in his bedroll, so you could sleep more than 2 in here if you need to. The 8x11 has an 8-foot center pole, so that's a total peak height of 8 feet. Gives great standing headroom. Then the angles of the canopy allow that I can sit right in the corner of the awning area or inside the tent, and my head's not going to touch the canopy. Now the 11x14 tent has a 9-foot center pole. That gives a great loft to the canopy and allows for free movement throughout the tent and the awning area. Just like the 8x11, I'm able to sit right in the corner of the awning or the cabin without my head touching the canvas. With the Ellis Split-Torrent Tent, the possibilities are endless. You've got outdoor living space and an interior cabin, all underneath the same weather-worthy canopy. Thanks so much for visiting with us, and we'll see you out there.